Good afternoon. Welcome everyone. Bonjour, bon après-midi, bienvenue à tout le monde. Mon nom est Valérie Guillian. Je vais être votre maîtresse de cérémonie aujourd'hui. Hello everyone, my name is Valerie Guillian and I'll be the MC for this very important Survivors Flag ceremony today. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we are gathered is the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Anishinabeg Algonquin Nation. J'aimerais commencer par reconnaître aujourd'hui que la terre sur laquelle nous sommes réunis est le territoire non cédé de la nation Anishinabeg Algonquin. Today, we will once again witness the raising of the survivors' flag on Parliament Hill. This commemorative flag was created by survivors to honor all survivors' families and communities impacted by the residential school system in Canada and to share their expression of remembrance. I will have the honor of inviting Elder Claudette Commanda from Kitigan-Zibi Anishinabeg to the stage. Aujourd'hui, nous serons à nouveau témoins de la levée du drapeau des survivants de la colline du Parlement. Ce drapeau commémoratif a été créé par les survivants afin d'honorer tous les survivants, les familles et les communautés touchées par le système des pensionnats au Canada et de partager leur expression du souvenir. J'ai maintenant l'honneur d'inviter l'aînée, Claudette Commanda, de Kitigan-Zibi Anishinabeg, à monter sur scène. Je vous prie de vous joindre à moi pour lui souhaiter la bienvenue.
Kwesheba. Good morning. Bonjour tout le monde. You may be seated. I begin by acknowledging the survivors. To you, the survivors of residential schools, the survivors of day schools. I acknowledge Your Excellency. I acknowledge the elders. I acknowledge the leaders, National Chief Cindy Woodhouse, Grand Chief Savannah McGregor, the other chiefs who are in the audience. I acknowledge senators, members of parliament. I acknowledge also the intergenerational survivors. I acknowledge everyone who is here. And we are here today in this circle, together as one. And it's always important that whenever we come together, that circle of prayer, to lift our hearts, to lift our spirit, to lift our voice as one, to give honor and thanks to the Great Spirit, the Creator who's put us here. Yesterday was a very emotional day. We honored, we commemorated, we remembered, and we also celebrated. We celebrated the resistance, we celebrated the survival, we celebrated that our people continue to be here. To you, the survivors, I thank you for your strength. I thank you for your stories. I thank you for your histories. And I thank you for your love. Your love of family, your love of your communities, your love for one another. My name is Claudette Commanda. Kani Michkishgun Kinun Adishnakas Kitigan-Zibi Donjaban. And I am from Kitigan-Zibi. I acknowledge the first ancestors of this land, the ancestors of the Anishinabeg people. I acknowledge the ancestors of all our peoples from coast to coast to coast on this beautiful land that we refer to as Turtle Island, referred to as Mother Earth. I acknowledge everyone's ancestors. But at this time, before I go into prayer, I would like to ask for the Algonquin survivors to please stand so we can acknowledge you. Please stand. And those Those Algonquin elders, we acknowledge you and we welcome you into this homeland of our ancestors, of our people, of our children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and those 7 generations to come. So welcome, welcome, welcome. For those that want to stand, as a prayer is being said, you're more than welcome to stand. For those that want to remain seated, please remain seated. Because when we go into our lodges, we sit upon Mother Earth. We do not stand in our lodges. But for those of you who have lodges that you stand, you're more than welcome to stand. We do not impose our ways on anyone, but we welcome everyone into our prayer circle. Let us put our minds together, our hearts, our spirit, and our voice together as one, and we say to the Creator, Kichimiigwej, Kishimanado, Kichimiigwej, Kinakego, Chimiigwej. We thank the Great Spirit, our Creator, for all of His blessings. We also honor and we give thanks to our grandfather, the sun, whose breath is warming us this day, whose light is shining upon us. And as He brightly shines upon us, all our ancestors, all those children who did not make it home, all our survivors who are in that spirit world, they are smiling down on us. They are holding us in their arms and they continue to pray for us, and we give thanks to the Creator for their prayers and for their love. We give thanks to the Creator for our Mother the Earth and our grandfather the sun and our grandmother the moon. We thank the Creator for the water life, the plant life, the medicine life, and our relatives, the animals. And we say, Chimiigwej, Kishimanado, Miigwej ni Jenwendaganagum Mamaweniniwag. Nibuksendam unje nongum kakina. Nibuksendam mashkawi wizin. Minapamadzwin ashis zagieduin. Creator, with love in our hearts, we thank you for blessing us with the gift of life, the gift of love. We thank you, Creator, for bringing us together. And may this day be a good day. Blessings for all the survivors and their families. We also pray, Creator, that all Canadians will walk with us, will listen, will understand, and they will continue to be our friends. Creator, we thank you for this beautiful day. Chimiigwej. Thank you. Miigwej.
Chimiigwej, Elder Commander, for that beautiful prayer. Chimiigwej, merci beaucoup pour la très, très belle prière. I also want to acknowledge the drummers for the beautiful song at the beginning of the ceremony today. Merci beaucoup aussi pour ceux qui jouaient le tambour pour leur beau chant à l'ouverture de la cérémonie aujourd'hui. Just before starting, I also wanted to mention that we do have incredible mental health support workers that are surrounding us for this event. They are wearing blue vests, so please, if you do have that need, we do have a space in the back as well for you to access supports. And we also have a medicine table over here on the right if you'd like to visit. Je voudrais aussi juste mentionner qu'on a des travailleurs en matière de la santé mentale qui nous entourent, qui nous appuient durant le contexte de la cérémonie aujourd'hui. Ils portent des vestes bleues, vous pouvez les voir. S'il vous plaît, n'hésitez pas d'accéder à ces services-là de soutien. On a un espace que vous pouvez consulter aussi en arrière. Et on a la table de médecine qui est ici à ma droite, qui est disponible si vous voulez aussi la visiter. Now, it's a privilege for me to introduce Her Excellency, the Governor General, Mary Simon, to say a few words. C'est un privilège pour moi de maintenant introduire Son Excellence, le Gouverneur Général, Mary Simon, pour nous partager quelques mots.
Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour. Tungasugitsi Ilunasi. Residential school survivors, Indigenous leaders and elders, and distinguished guests. Nous sommes sur le territoire non cédé de la nation Algonquin Anishinabeg. Today, As we raise this flag, we remember the Indigenous children who were sent to residential schools and never came home. We also pay tribute to the resilience of those who survived and who continue to uphold their cultures and traditions despite the deep injustices of the past. A decade ago, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission opened the door for survivors' voice to be heard. Aujourd'hui, les Canadiens et Canadiennes sont plus nombreux à connaître la vérité sur notre histoire. The stories of the survivors are an immense gift. They are an open hand extended to all Canadians, inviting us to rebuild bridges between communities. I want to thank those who have accepted that hand and are helping move reconciliation forward. Those who include Indigenous voices and traditions in commemorations and events. Les personnes qui portent le chandail orange par solidarité. Educators who embrace Indigenous perspectives in teaching history and support revitalization, support language revitalization in schools. Businesses and organizations opening doors to Indigenous talent. Artists and broadcasters who amplify Indigenous cultures in Canadian public life. Canadians who nominate Indigenous people for national honors, like the Order of Canada. Les gens qui prennent le temps de connaître leurs voisins autochtones et de bâtir des relations entre les cultures. Mental health professionals helping to heal intergenerational trauma. Thank all of you. Thank you very much for what you are doing and helping make progress. 10 years after the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's released its final report, we may not be where we need to be, but survivors have opened hearts and minds. Il faut continuer. Let's keep going. We have all the tools we need to advance reconciliation. We all benefit from building a future where every young person, Indigenous and non-Indigenous alike, has equal access to opportunities and resources. That's how we create a stronger society that is ready to meet the challenges of today and tomorrow. So thank you so much for being here. Miigwech, nakokmig, merci.
Nakumek, Your Excellency, for those beautiful words. Nakumek, Son Excellence, pour ces si beaux mots. It is now also a great pleasure to welcome our Algonquin survivor, Lucien Wabanonic, from the Lac-Simon Anishinabeg community in Quebec, to share with us. J'aimerais maintenant souhaiter la bienvenue à Lucien Wabanonic, qui est un survivant algonquin de la communauté Anishinabeg de Lac-Simon au Québec, pour partager son témoignage.
Kwe kakina iwes kadnum pepe kuma pijak magong apiten dagun agak joni ke bije bak udakanak konik choish kedwe diga bije bak kabas mane ke wogen gishkaman anish mashkuiz min kinuch kanig ze kadi dugit ba ne ze kadi dugit about sick I just wanted to say thank you to all of you, Your Excellency, Simmons, Minister, Deputy Ministers. Forgive me if I forget people, but there's a lot of people to thank. And of course, welcome in our unceded territory. The elements of reconciliation are important. And I'll tell you something what I was told when I was young by my father. Where we come from, where our school is, where our education comes from, the attachment to our lands is something that's sacred. The bones of our ancestors lie on those lands. That's where we come from. We are part of the land. And this is something that needs to be, I think, remembered all the time, because this is something that we're going to give to our next generation. Yes, I am a survivor of residential school, but I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to give that to my children or my grandchildren. I want to stop this victimization. But we need help. We need Canadians. We need your help. As a society, modern society, we're in 2025, we still face issues within our communities. We have sometimes trouble with some provincial government. In the Quebec region, we have a situation. It's unfortunate, but we face that with dignity and always try to give, the hand to share, knowledge, because we need to coexist as nations and peoples. We cannot go back, but we need to learn lessons from our past, our common past. But we need to create a common future where our nations and people will thrive. Our next generation will walk hand in hand. That's the dream of many of our people. Since first contact, we shared the land. We helped. The first people who came around this continent. We shared, but some of them forgot. And we need to remind ourselves those promises. Because there was promises, there were treaties, international treaties. Because in those era, there was no government, there was no Canada, there was no Quebec, there was no other provinces. There was we, First Nations, and the newcomers. And we greeted all of them. We helped them to survive in this country. This is something that we cannot forget. We are part of this country, and we want to be part of it for the next coming years, the next 100 years, and more. I just wanted to share, because the way my people see it, we cannot ignore our rights, our people, the society we live in today. So there's a lot of things to be done. Reconciliation is not just a buzzword for a certain time. I like what the Prime Minister said yesterday. We need to look at this in the long term, intergenerational work. And he said, we will not fail you. We will see how things will be moving on in the next coming years. Not just one mandate. We have to look at the very long term on this issue. So I'm hoping that we're going to be doing this together, and I'm hoping that we're going to do better as peoples and nations. Thank you very much.
Miigwech, Lucien, for sharing that with us. Merci beaucoup. We will now hear from another honored survivor, Eugene Archon from the Muskeg First Nation in Saskatchewan. Maintenant, nous tournons la parole à Eugene Archon, qui vient de la communauté de Muskeg à Saskatchewan.
Nigan nas kumagamama utipit sige tumagaki umote peto tayo ak. Kapag yung gato ak kuninan napsis ka sumo ak ukiyo katutame. Niyasin mo tagakyo kapituhti. Tamskat na agakyo. I want to acknowledge Her Excellency the Governor General. I want to acknowledge our National Chief, Cindy Woodhouse, and all the First Nation, Métis, and Inuit leaders who are here. It's so appropriate that our National Chief and our Governor General are matriarchs. We were changed from a matriarchal society to a patriarchal society through colonization. And if we want to talk about wellness and healing, we have to go back to the old ways. And these powerful women are leading the way in that charge. I want to acknowledge Senator Francis and all the members of the Senate who are here for your allyship and your unbending support for residential school survivors. Sometimes we're very invisible, and I want to ask my fellow survivors to please stand if you can, and because these are your words that I'm going to share. Along with my fellow survivors who are here today, I would challenge that the chairs that are here, there I would guess 31 empty chairs. I don't travel alone. I travel with my classmates. From 1958, 1959, their spirits are in these chairs, the same as my fellow residential school survivors' spirits are traveling with them. There are 32 children in that picture. Only 7 of us are still alive. Not one of us committed suicide. Not one of us attempted to leave this world, to go to the spirit world. But without their strength and the strength of the matriarch standing behind me, I wouldn't be able to finish this speech. But I also don't look at it as the colonial teaching of crying, because every one of us who are standing here, we took a slap, a punch, we got the strap. We were physically, psychologically, emotionally, and sexually abused in our experience, and with that daily threat every day. We're not here to cry on your shoulders or look for your pity, but we're here to let you know that we're here not only for us who are standing here, but those people we acknowledged yesterday, those children and those missing children. And they don't deserve this. But if there are any denialists who are in this crowd, please shamefully leave. And if you're watching this, watch your tongue. The Creator has taught us your behavior will always come back to haunt you. I just want to acknowledge everyone, including the past Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. 4 years ago, we gathered on this very spot when we were told that we would be able to have a flag-raising ceremony for 1 year. I asked the Prime Minister at that time, why are we limited to 1 year? He said, that is the policy of the National Capital Commission. I said, Mr. Prime Minister, listen to yourself. You're the Prime Minister of this country. We're residential school survivors who have waited decades in silence while we were called liars, making up stories to have this event to raise our flag that's reflective of the sovereignty of the first people, the Métis people and the Inuit people of these lands. And you're telling us the National Capital Commission rules? We'd like to have this for a period of 4 years. And I am so greatly honored to be in the presence of my fellow survivors today in this 4th year. It was always our wish and our hope that we would get a minimum of 4 years. Because never in our wildest dreams when we were children growing up and trying to survive the deviants and the perverts that were taking advantage of us, that we'd be standing on Parliament Hill raising a survivor's flag. I think I've said enough.
Just taking a moment. Thank you so much. There are no words really to be able to fully convey our appreciation for your sharing today. Merci beaucoup. Il n'y a pas vraiment de mots qui pourraient décrire le niveau d'appréciation que nous avons pour les mots que vous avez partagés avec nous cet après-midi. I'm also now honored to invite a survivor, Edna Elias, originally from her home community of Kurlutuk, Nunavut, and now living in Edmonton, to the podium. J'aimerais maintenant inviter la survivante Edna Elias, originaire de sa communauté de Kurlutuk, au Nunavut, et qui vit maintenant à Edmonton, à venir au podium.
The short Eskimo, as I was called. Hivulak pa ilita kayo mayat katap ko annaw makatit ka hatyan no ang nangyaktot. First of all, I want to honor and acknowledge my fellow survivors who were just standing with me. Ilin niyang lakti taon ni kublut tatamapta. Ato menay tukko akti tao vaktugun. As children who were forced to go to residential school, we experienced bad experiences, as many have stated before me. Nung nakikingitap tingnot, nakikingitap tingnulo, itkohen nulo, kawimang ngitap tingnot. Ang ajung nang molo, uvang atu akimang itunga. Brought to strange lands, strange food, strange way of living, and to religions and praying forever, 3-4 times a day. Those things are still very much in here. And I'm not going to go through all the negative stuff. I want to, we're healing, we're moving on. And it took me a long time to acknowledge that I myself was a survivor. It took a lot of soul searching for me. Uwam nag-ilja ka mangit kalwakama, and now may himaya kamning. Kihimi iluga, ihumaga, umatiga, akokone, ilumot, ihumat ka. A lot of soul searching and trying to come to terms with myself, my experiences. Being the eldest in the family, only 2 of us were allowed to go. My mother stood steadfast. As her son was coming of school age, she told her husband, "You either stop working on these dual-line sites, or I'll go home to my parents and you can stay." That's how strong she was. She was not letting any more kids go. Apapagan nalokhada kami. Ihumakakyo kimay tumi. Havana kimay nakta. Avitaw yumangin na minutak kami nin. Munak tigigap tigo. Amamaga. At ang naktok tuwi galo ako ne. Ihumaliok tiublo ne. Ay mavipting ni. My father didn't take him any thinking. He knew he had to leave his job. He needed to protect his children. And my mother remained steadfast in her decision. Anyway, my name is Edna Elias. Kokloktong miutaw yunga, inu himayunga. Ukiak kami, dahil me hikulihak to me. Name is Edna Elias, an Inuk woman born on the shores of a frozen lake in October in Nunavut. Anana tiangma, at himayanga, hatuleang miutanga, tauyungago, meaning I'm a person of thin ice, from thin ice. My grandmother called me Hatuleang Miutak, a person from thin ice. And she was the only one that called me that, so it was special. Ublumi uvanikati malakkogun, upigiblugit an nakimayon ilinyang niyang mingnit. Itkaw mablugit abko ano takan noan. Ang ilgang itut. Ang ayok kaming no. Napaktin niya ako gulo. Ang nakimayut takuyat. Today we gather in ceremony honoring survivors to remember the children who never came home and to raise our flag. As it was yesterday, this flag is not just a piece of fabric. Many Canadians honor and respect the Canadian flag. We ask you to also honor and respect our survivors' flag. For it carries the weight of our truths. It carries the memories of the children whose lives were cut short. Tigumi ako ni lo, uvagot, anak himayugot, ako ang niptingning. Hivo mo yung mabluta, akit tao yung mabluta, uvaptingning. Puy ko ngit kaluak logo, kiheme hivo mo luta. Tuhak tao yung mabluta lo. It's not just a piece of fabric as it was carrying that sacred cloth yesterday. That was the most difficult experience I had. It was just not a piece of fabric. All those names weighed a ton. I carried the souls of little children. And if it weren't for the other two, I think I might have collapsed. I wanted to scream. So that's the respect we also need to give our flag. Residential school, as I experienced it, tried to strip us of our languages, cultures, and our very selves. Ilinyang limutay man eh. Akang niga ho hitut, o kau hiptingnik, ilit ko hiptingnik, inu niptingnik, kinaw niptingnik. Ili himayunga kanorin mangat, o kau heng mek tigume akayame. Ako ko tigi blugulo, at tamak tayo linianot. Inuit naktut o kau hera, ang hivunimma Inuit o kau her. O kau hiu naung itun. Ta o kau hera, kau imaya tokanik, tigume ang man. Kinaw nera, o kau himne itok. I know what it is to carry a language and to fight for its survival. I was criticized after coming home one year from residential school by an aunt. She told me, quit talking, trying to talk Inuit Naktut. Speak English, you're not speaking it right. She gave me the determination that I had to relearn, to reclaim it. I was mad at her at the time, for I was trying my best, but now I'm thankful that she was honest. That forgiveness made me feel much better. And yet schools like these tried to silence everything. But here we stand, our language alive, my language alive, our cultures are alive, and our people are still here. That is what strength looks like, especially in unity. It has taken Canada far too long to acknowledge the truths survivors have carried, but it is because of their courage, the love of their families and communities that we stand here today, bearing witness. You bearing witness. Don't just bear witness, support us. Share what residential school means to your children, your grandchildren, all the Caucasian faces. Don't just think it's a trend. Take it to heart and share that, the meaning of Orange Shirt Day. The survivor's flag reminds us of two things: to never forget and to keep moving forward. Takuyak napang kurvak ti tao niyak to. Marong nigpid yutiling uvam nung. Puyok tayo ng mig, hibumohin mang ng miglo. Ilane, ablok pagkalo ako ta kingumot. Makitain na kauta, hibumungin ng niyak tugon. Some days we may stall and take a few steps back, but then we just keep going forward. Forgetting is not an option. Moving forward is our responsibility, your responsibility. If you're in the governments, your responsibility lies in that little book of 94 calls to action. Because many of us feel that, I feel that I'm not the one to have that responsibility. I can be an advocate, tell you how you could make things better and stuff like that, but it really rests on your shoulders. This is not easy work. Reconciliation is not a slogan. Inuit Naktut tayo niyang naluyong nga. I don't know how to say reconciliation in my language. I haven't found a word yet that I'm happy with. It's listening to survivors, honoring their truths, committing ourselves every day and to walk together. Today, as we raise this flag, let us remember those we lost. Let us honor those who survived, and to promise our children a future where their languages, cultures, and spirits will never be taken away from them again. Koyanak beak, hikinak tume, hamane, ilaw gafe. Nara gafe huwak tingnik, annaw mahimayunik. Upigi niyak kakidam na takuyak, hatsagunwak, kulwak titaw niyakto. I'm thankful that on this beautiful sunny day shining upon us, that you are here with me, with us, as this red flag is going to be raised. Konak piakawe, merci, miigwech, and thank you.
Nakumik. Edna, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. I would now like to invite our honored Métis Two-Spirit survivor, Charlotte Nolan, an elder of Ojibwe and Cree ancestry, to the podium. J'aimerais maintenant inviter l'honorée survivante métisse et bispirituelle, Charlotte Nolan, aînée d'ascendance Ojibwe et Cree.
Those are a tough act to follow. Tansei, bonjour, Tanche, bonjour, good morning, my relatives. My name is Charlotte Nolan. It's not the name my parents gave me, but it was the name that the ancestors gave me in 1972. The other two names I walk with are Stand Strong Eagle Woman and Red Horse Running. One of the things I learned at the very beginning when I started to carry those names is that I had an obligation to them. I had a responsibility to carry those names, to know what they meant, to know what I was to do. Today, we're here to raise a flag to honor all the survivors of the Indian residential schools, to honor the survivors of the Indian schools, and honor the survivors of the 60 scoop. These systems did not make who we are. These systems gave us the strength to walk forward in a good way amongst our relatives. And my message to all Canadians is walk with one another. Learn to love one another the way we were meant to. Learn to help one another, to support one another. We may come from different backgrounds, different countries, different languages, but we are all part of the human race. One race, the human race. We have different traditions, different customs, different foods, different languages. But because of all those differences, we have what we have today, a country that stands strong and true to the people that reside here. A country that honors our relatives who come from other countries and want to make their home here. We can't change the past, my relatives. But what we can do is work together. Like I mentioned yesterday, if we want reconciliation, it's up to each and every one of us to work towards that. It's up to each and every one of us to pull up our socks and walk together towards reconciliation. We will never forget the past, nor should we. We will always honor those that we've lost, those who were survivors. But we, as Indigenous people, ask the rest of you here in Canada to walk with us, to support us in our endeavors, to help us achieve what everybody else wants, a place to call home. We have some reserves in Canada that still don't have clean drinking water. This is 2025, the 21st century, and we don't have clean drinking water. This is 2025, and our children are still being taken away by the CFS systems that are in place. My responsibilities as a Two-Spirit or Tessawiniao is to ensure that our children are protected, to ensure that all the 2S LGBTQIA children and youth are protected. We know that we have the highest rates of suicides of any group in this country, and I want that to stop. I want our children, our youth, to be able to walk amongst society and to be accepted and respected for who they are. In our traditions, we were held in a place of honor at one time. Today, I know that if I go in some northern communities in my own province, I'll be pushed away because of what colonization has done to our people. If we want to eradicate racism, homophobia, and transphobia, knowledge is the only answer to do that. Knowledge that we're no different than anyone else. Knowledge that we have the same goals, the same desires as anyone else. Last year, when I returned from Sundance, I was instructed by the old ones as to what my place here on Mother Earth is. My responsibility is to leave footprints behind that others will choose to follow. And that's the magic word, choose to follow. And that's what I try and do when I lead our 2S LGBT community. As I mentioned yesterday, the ceremonies are part of our makeup of who we are as Indigenous folks. Many of us grew up with the Catholic Church. I knew I grew up with it till I was 14. But I knew throughout all those years that they were lying to us when they kept telling us that we were going to burn in the fires of hell because we were savages. Well, this little savage has come a long ways. I work at the University of Manitoba with the Ungamazin program. That's the Indigenous medical students that come to the university. And I learned the other day that at the University of Manitoba, we have over 3,200 students in that university. Like, wow. At one time, we weren't allowed in the universities. And here we are today. I work at the university. Kinanas komatin kokomnao mosumnao for the wisdom and guidance that you've shared with me over the years. Kinanas komatin ni mama ni papa for what you've left behind. I want to plead with each and every one of you. Don't let this be the only day that you celebrate or participate in our events. Come to our powwows. Come to our sun dances. Come to our sweat lodges. It's for everyone. We don't want there to be separation. I look to the south and I hear what's happening over there, and it hurts. It hurts. But I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I want to thank our survivors, our dignitaries, our chiefs, for being here and supporting us. I want to thank the drummers and the singers for that voice that lifted all of us. And I want all of you, when you go home, to share what you've learned yesterday and today with your loved ones, with your relatives, so that they may learn as well. If I've forgotten anything, Creator, please accept them in my sound prayers. Gaginaw kumakanak, tut mapakante, kinanas kumatin, kisagayin, ekase, aho.
Thank you very much. I would now like to invite Stephanie Scott, the Executive Director of the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation, to say a few words. J'aimerais maintenant inviter Stephanie Scott, qui est la Directrice Générale du Centre National de la Vérité et de la Réconciliation, à adresser.
Good afternoon. Buju Miskwa Nakwarakwe Indigenous Cause Wabashishi Dodem. My name is Stephanie Scott, and I'm the Executive Director of the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation, which is hosted by the University of Manitoba in the heart of this land. My family is from the Roseau River Anishinabeg First Nation in Treaty 1, and I am of the Martin clan. I'm also the daughter of a survivor, and I'm also a 60 scoop survivor, and it has taken decades for me to learn and understand who I am, where I've come from, and where I'm going. I'm always grateful to be welcomed back here to the unceded and unsurrendered territory of the Algonquin Nation. And we've spent several days here so far, and I just am always grateful and really appreciate the love that is shared with us while we are here. Elder Commander Miigwech, for your blessing and the support on this important day. And I also like to acknowledge Her Excellency Governor General Mary Simon, the Honorable Rebecca Alty, and Deputy Ministers Valerie Gideon and Gina Wilson, and to the National Chief and all the leadership that is here, and invited guests, and to the senators. It was a beautiful day handing out the King Charles medals, and I think what was important in that space was that we opened that day. Our people filled the chamber. We had the medicines, the support, the gift of your time in that space. So again, I say miigwech for that. And to the Eagle River Singers for your powerful songs, and that very young 19-year-old elder who held the water ceremony and lifted the water for us today. I say miigwech, and to her mother and family. We really truly miss our dear Steph. Most of all, I would like to thank all of the survivors that are here with us today. Edna, Eugene, Charlotte, Lucien. It was an incredible day yesterday, and the power and the emotion of talking and speaking about the thousands of children who died in the residential schools was extremely powerful. When we first started taking space up on Parliament Hill, there were a few hundred. Then there was 1,000, and now it's grown to several thousand people standing in unity with us. And it was really, really powerful. We started with one broadcaster a few years ago, then it was 3, then it was 5, it was 13. And then we had 23 and 150 radio stations tune into the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And they are listening to your truths, and I acknowledge all that you have gifted us, miigwech. When we raise the flag, we honor the survivors who struggled for so long and have had that truth held and heard within. To raise a flag on Parliament Hill is an incredible accomplishment, a testimony to the courage of survivors and to the strength of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. They are strong with their cultures and traditions, and it's so important to us that this flag continues to fly on Parliament Hill. Every day when visitors come and see that history, they will understand that their truths have not been forgotten, and that they understand that Indigenous laws, cultures, and traditions are the foundation of this country. I also hope that the flag serves as a daily reminder to our leaders on Parliament Hill that they must continue to take action. And it's always a stark reminder that the flag is intended, that Canada has made a commitment to truth first and reconciliation must follow. It will help in healing the harms of the residential school era, and it will ensure that the racism, the hatred that fueled the residential school system will never again find a place in Canadian laws and policies. We will never change the past, but we can learn from it, and we can shoulder our responsibilities as leaders, as treaty partners, and as friends and neighbors. And we will work together for a better future. And that's what today's flag raising is about. So really, miigwech to each one of you for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Merci beaucoup, Stéphanie. And now I'd like to invite the Honorable Rebecca Alty, Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations. J'aimerais maintenant inviter la ministre, l'Honorable Rebecca Alty, qui est la ministre de Couronne Peuples Autochtones.
Bonjour, hello, good afternoon. It's an honor to be with you today on the unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinabeg people. I want to begin by recognizing and thanking the survivors, elders, knowledge keepers, leaders, and all those who have brought us together today and who continue to guide this work with strength, dignity, and vision. Eugene, thank you. Edna, Kwana, Charlotte, merci Joe, Lucien, merci beaucoup. Elder Claudette, thank you. Stephanie, again, a big merci Joe. And Your Excellency, the Governor General, Mary Simon, Kwana. To the survivors who have spoken, your words are powerful. They carry truth, courage, and love, and I thank you for sharing them with us. And to all survivors here today, I honor your resilience, I honor your presence, and I thank you for allowing us to stand with you. Once again, we gather to raise the survivors' flag. Here on Parliament Hill, it stands as a powerful reminder to all Canadians of our shared responsibility to remember, to act, and to walk forward together. Today is a day of remembrance. Today we remember the children who never came home. We honor the families and communities forever changed. And we stand with survivors who carry the truth with them every day. The survivors' flag holds those truths. This flag was created by survivors in consultation with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities across the country, and its symbols, the seeds of life, the children and families, the cedar, the inukshuk, each tell a story. Stories of loss and pain, stories of resilience, and stories of love. But above all, the survivors' flag reminds us every child matters. Aujourd'hui est un jour de commémoration, mais la commémoration à elle seule ne suffit pas. Aujourd'hui doit également être un jour d'action, car les vérités auxquelles nous sommes confrontés ensemble doivent façonner l'avenir que nous bâtissons ensemble. And so we look forward and we move forward together. As Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations, I'm committed to doing this work, to listening, to showing up, and to ensuring that the work of reconciliation is real, lasting, and felt in communities. Cela veut dire continuer à soutenir le Centre national pour la vérité et la réconciliation, le Conseil national de réconciliation et d'autres organisations dirigées par les survivants pour les survivants. It means reaffirming our commitment to fulfilling the calls to action. And it means changing systems, policies, and the ways we work together. We recognize that the journey to reconciliation does not follow a straight path, and it's not simple. It takes humility, it takes honesty, and it takes all of us. Powerful acts, sharing stories, raising this flag, move us forward in that journey. So to the survivors, again, thank you. Thank you for your truth, for your wisdom, and for your strength. What you were made to endure was deeply unjust and wrong, and it can never be forgotten. Par vos témoignages, vous contribuez à ce que cela ne se reproduise plus jamais. En percevant le passé, nous contribuons à bâtir un avenir meilleur et plus juste pour tout le monde, et je vous remercie également. I want you to know that I stand with you today, not just as a minister, but as someone who is deeply personally committed to this work. I want you to know that I'll keep showing up, I'll keep listening, and I'll keep working alongside you for as long as it takes. So let us raise this flag together, and let it remind us all of the children who were lost, the survivors who carry on, and the future we are building together. Miigwech, merci, thank you, masicho.
Thank you very much, Minister. So now we will be inviting Minister Alti to raise the survivors flag, and assisted by the survivors on the stage to gather. And Her Excellency, the Governor General, Mary Simon, will act as witness to the raising of the flag, and we will invite our wonderful drummers to support through song. Nous allons maintenant demander à la ministre Alti d'aider à élever le drapeau des survivants, assistés par les survivants que nous avons ici sur le théâtre, et aussi on va inviter le tambour et le chant pour accompagner, et son Excellence le gouverneur général va agir en tant que témoin. Thank you very much, everyone. Please feel free to stay. We have refreshments here, and just stay for a few minutes if you'd like to have more conversations. The ceremony is now officially concluded. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. La cérémonie est conclue, mais s'il vous plaît, on vous invite à avoir des rafraîchissements ici, passer quelques moments à continuer la conversation. Thank you very much. Merci.